We are going to be talking about part 2 of our 4-part series on how to create your breakthrough year in 2021. And so, if you want to, if you missed 2000, if you missed part 1, then we'll give you the link where you can link back and check that out. Okay. But today we want to talk about setting your goals. So maybe your last 12 months haven't been that great. Okay. And I know this has been an unusual year that could definitely make a difference there. But did you know that you can change that? Maybe you could look back 12 months from now and say, wow, I had a breakthrough year. It was so amazing. You know what I mean? It's like the year. So it could be the year where it all comes together. Everything comes together and you are absolutely winning at life. You're winning in your business and at a whole new level, unlike ever before. So today in this episode, we are going to break down part 2 of your breakthrough year blueprint. This is our proven goal setting strategy that will help you absolutely experience your breakthrough year quickly and achieve whatever dreams you have, no matter what. And you're going to be able to do this without falling short, without feeling overwhelmed. So we hope you're excited about this because we are.
Good morning. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with K&J. I'm Jordan Maley. I'm here with my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider, and we are the co-founders of the Global Freedom Community, a mother-daughter team who help driven network marketers with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. If you're watching this over on our YouTube channel, be sure and hit the subscribe button. That way you get notified anytime we release new training episodes like this one. And if you want all the goods, remember that we provide free recaps and downloadable resources in every single episode. And we give you those on our blog. And I'm going to actually pop that up on the screen right now. So you can check the link. It's in the description along with this video. If you're on Facebook, I think it's above. If you're on YouTube, it's below. But it's also scrolling across the bottom of your screen. And this week, we have a really special resource, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But if you ever want to get a full recap of the episode and go download that resource, you can do that at the link below. So we're going to talk all about goal setting today. So let's jump in and get started.
So, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this guy's name. I actually Googled to see who he was because I was like, okay, I love this quote. I've heard it forever, but who is this person? So anyway, if you can go Google it and see who he was, I don't know. But I thought, man, what an interesting thing. This is so true. A goal without a plan is just a wish, okay? And have you ever thrown a penny into a well and, just said a wish or looked up at the stars and, said, what is it? First star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, that kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, that's a wish. And those things are fun. But when it comes to your business and a lot of times even your personal life, you've got to set goals. Okay. You've got to have goals. And goal setting, I think people pull back from it and they just kind of wish because they don't really know how to put a plan together. And that plan, it's an unknown. So many times we're like, I don't know how to really put this all together. And that is one of the things that we're really, really good at doing. Okay. There's a lot of things that we don't know either, but I'm going to tell you, we know how to put a plan together and we know how to set goals. And it's why we've been able to move our business forward very intentionally. We almost do it by design, and we want to help you be able to do that as well. So anyway, love this quote, love what we're covering today.
Absolutely. Me too. So this today we're going to be talking about goals that get you where you want to go. Okay. So drop a yes or a me in the comments if you also you love to set goals for the new year, right? Maybe you're not. So we're not real big on New Year's resolutions, but we're really big on leveraging the power of a new year to set some new goals. Okay. Drop a yes in the comments if you like setting new goals for the new year as well. But maybe you're a little hesitant about setting goals. Maybe you're afraid you're going to set a goal and fail to achieve it, right? And so if that holds you back, that keeps you from setting goals. Maybe you don't even know what goals you should be setting, right? Well, this is part 2 in our 4-part blueprint year or breakthrough year blueprint series. Okay. And it is your breakthrough year blueprint. It's the 3rd year we've done this. You'd think I could say it by now, but apparently not. But this is part 2 in this 4-part series. And we're going to show you how to not just set goals, but actually set goals that get you where you want to go, that help you take that lifestyle wheel and blow it up, make it bigger. So you can actually download the goal setting worksheet that we created to go along with this episode over at globalfreedomcommunity.com/64. And over there you can, we're going to walk you through actually creating your own goals following the steps that we talk about in this episode today. So if you like what we talk about and you're like, yes, I want to do this for myself, that goal setting worksheet will walk you step by step in doing that. It's completely free. You can go grab it over at globalfreedomcommunity.com/64. So let's jump in. Let's get started, Mom. Let's talk about creating your breakthrough year.
Yeah. And, I think this is a really important thing to point out, that a breakthrough year isn't just about the money. Okay. It's not just about the new cars, the bigger houses, the once in a lifetime vacations. A breakthrough year is about leveling up your life and becoming the very best version of you. Okay. And then at the end of that breakthrough year, you're going to look in the mirror and you will be healthier. You'll be wealthier. You'll be happier. And just more you, okay? You're just going to be like, it is so like, it's well, like we talked about, like Jordan mentioned, the wheel, okay? It's all about bringing it all together and making sure that you're just making sure you're balanced in all those areas as well as you can be. I know balance is kind of a funny word, but it can happen if
you want to be growing in all areas, not just one, right?
Exactly. And that's where the balance comes in, so that you're seeing improvement and growth all the way around that wheel.
Absolutely. So choosing your goals. Okay, let's talk about how we choose these goals. A breakthrough year, like Mom was just saying, it requires well-rounded goals. They've got to fit your core values, and they've got to fit the season of life that you're in right now.
Wow, that's right? So important.
It's so important. I think so often we get that comparison-itis, right? Maybe we compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10, and we think that our goals need to fit their goals. Like we were just talking to a good friend of ours last week about some of her goals for 2021. Well, her brand is a little bit bigger than ours, quite a bit bigger than ours. She's been doing this longer than we have. And it was really exciting to look at her goals and to hear what she was sharing. And we just loved hearing that. And we're so excited. We're cheering her on in those goals. But we also had to be careful that in talking to her, that we didn't think, oh no, maybe we need to change our goals. Maybe we need to change our focus, because our goals are not her goals. Her goals are not our goals. Your goals are not our goals. Our goals are not your goals, right? You don't have the same goals as your downline, as your upline, as your crossline, as your friend who doesn't have a home-based business, right? Everybody's goals are different. Maybe you have a young baby at home. Your goals might look different than, me, who I'm a young professional. I don't have kids yet, right? So I don't have as much, I've got a little more time on my hands, right? Maybe your kids are getting older, so your goals are going to look a little different than they did 5 years ago when your kids were younger and they took up a little bit more of your time. And so your goals need to fit the season of life you're in right now. They should support each other. They should feed each other. You never want to set one goal at the expense of another goal, right? Maybe your goal is to, it would be kind of hard to have a goal to pay off a certain amount of debt and grow your savings account to a certain amount, right? You got to pick one. And then once you hit that one, then you can go, build the savings account once you've paid off the debt, right? Don't set goals that compete with one another. And the key is to push yourself without overcommitting yourself. And I think this is something that we get better at the more that we do it, right? Where I think the more we set goals, the more we can push ourselves a little bit more, because we're not as afraid of failure. We know that we've set a lot of goals, we've missed a lot of goals. Hey, we're still breathing, we're still alive. Nothing, the world didn't end because we didn't hit the goal. And so sometimes you can set a few more goals without feeling that overwhelmed, without feeling, but you don't want to set yourself up to feel bad, right? So you want to push yourself, but not overcommit. So ask yourself, what season of life am I in right now? What can I legitimately commit to? And what am I, if I'm willing to push myself outside my comfort zone a little bit, right? I want to push myself. I want to get outside my comfort zone, but I need to be honest about what I can commit to right now. All right.
Well, and I want to add one little piece to that. And this is just from being a mom with small children in the past. And we actually did a training over at Marina's boot camp or summit last week. That is like, make sure that you're not like, if setting goals kind of scares you or, makes you a little fearful, you're afraid you're not going to do it, don't use your kids as your excuse. Just be honest and say, you know what, I'm nervous about this, I'm scared about this, but your kids, your little ones, they can be your reason or they can be your excuse. Make sure they're your reason and not your excuse. And yes, Jordan's right. Okay, you might, there's only so many hours in the day, right? But we all, like, there's other things we do that we probably don't have to do. And I'm not talking about like, don't feed your kids, don't spend time with your kids, don't change their diapers. No, you got to do all those things. But there probably are some things that you do that you probably could set aside, maybe a little less TV, hate to say it, maybe a little less holiday movies during the month of December.
A little less scrolling on social media.
Yeah. So just make sure. I just want to put that out there because it's something I see moms do, and I don't even think they know they're doing it. Like they say it and they're so sincere and they mean it. And I don't want that. I don't want you to look back on your last 12 months and see that you could have, like, there's other moms in your same situation and they did have their breakthrough year with their small kids around. My breakthrough year was when my kids were little. I mean, yep. I promise you, my first breakthrough year, my office was right in the middle of my kids' play area. I mean, they were right there at my feet the whole time. So, there are ways. So I just want to throw that out there.
Absolutely. So you want to choose goals in each of the 7 key areas of your life, okay? Health, wealth, business, spirituality, relationships, and your physical environments, okay? And fun as well. And if you want more info on those 7 areas and what they mean and why they're so important, definitely check out part 1 of the blueprint. If you go to the link at the bottom of this screen or in the description, then we have linked to that part there as well. So, but you want to choose goals in each of the areas, and you want to make sure that by doing this, what happens, the reason it's so important to do that is you will experience an exponential, well-rounded growth, okay, without sacrificing what's most important to you, right? And then sometimes we hesitate to set goals in certain areas because we don't want to be overwhelmed. But when you set goals in each area, as long as they're small and they're manageable, then all of a sudden you're growing exponentially in all areas, not just one. You're not growing your business at the expense of your kids or your marriage, or you're not creating income from your business without building wealth and things like that.
Or your health. I see so many times people let their health go. And I know I was guilty of that at a time when I let my health go because I sat at the computer just too many hours a day. And so I had to restructure my day to make sure I kept my health in order as well. So this is a good one. How many goals? Oh, I remember when I first started setting goals, I just had so many, it was crazy. Like my list just went on and on and on. I thought I was just going to conquer the world. And so you want to be careful and you want to make sure, we recommend that you start by choosing no more than 10. Okay, you can do less, but no more than 10. And this is 10 goals for the next 12 months. I even like to just even say what quarter I'm kind of aiming for with each of those 10. Again, like Jordan said, you want to make sure they're spread out in all 7 areas. Maybe you only have one health goal, or maybe you only have one wealth goal. Maybe you only have one business goal. I mean, they don't have to be evenly dispersed, but you need to make sure you have at least one in each area. And sometimes a goal can be to maintain. Okay. Yeah. Maybe you're where you want to be in a certain area, but you don't want that area to slip. So your goal is to make sure that it at least maintains over the next 12 months while you work on these other goals. Maintaining can be a goal in itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So habit goals versus achievement goals. And this is where that maintaining really comes in. This is where these are really good types of goals to set for things with your relationships and your spirituality and things like that. But achievement goals are things like running your first marathon, achieving a certain rank in your company, acquiring a specific dollar amount in your bank account. They have an end point. Okay. Habit goals are things like, I want to run for 45 minutes, 5 days a week. I want to prospect 14 new people a week. I want to save 10% of all income that comes into my household. Creating lasting habits that can help feed and support those achievement goals. So maybe you have an achievement goal to hit a certain rank in your business, and your habit goal is to prospect X number of people in a week. Because if you can get that habit goal, that's going to help you get that achievement goal. Does that make sense? Exactly. So there's not a wrong or right. Both of these can be very powerful in helping you get where you want to go. We have found if you're a little hesitant to set a goal, maybe you're afraid of failure, you don't want to set yourself up to fail, but you still want to push yourself. Okay. Set a habit goal. Okay. Sometimes some people, they're like, oh, I don't want to set an income goal. Like I don't want to set a goal to make $1,000 a month because what if I don't make it? Okay. Set a goal to prospect 14 people a week. Watch that $1,000 a month come and go because you actually surpass it because of that habit goal that you've set. Okay. So maybe you've not reached some of the goals that you've set in the past. Maybe you are just a little fearful of setting a big achievement goal. Set a habit goal. That's a really good way to lock in that achievement without actually making the achievement the goal.
Well, and a good thing with those those habit goals is to have some kind of way to track your streak. Like check it off on the calendar. The planner that I use actually has 4 habit goals. It has little squares that you check off. And so that, because if you get a streak going, you don't want to break it, right? Like that's a big deal. I know we've got a friend, she's not on today, but she's on quite often in our lives, Denise Caruzzi, and she set a habit goal of running 1 mile a day. And I don't know, she's almost to 3 years, I think now. And I mean, no matter what, she got in at least 1 mile a day. She runs marathons and everything. So she runs a lot more than 1 mile many days. But that habit goal, I remember when she first set it, and she was just trying to get to, I think it was first a month. Then she's like, okay, I'm going to see if I can do 6 months. I'm going to see if I can do a year. Well, here she is, this habit. She's on almost to year 3, which is pretty darn cool, and she never ran in her life. So
exactly. It's pretty awesome. Really, really cool. And it's good for things like, spirituality, meditation. Maybe your habit goal is that you want to go on a date night once a week with your spouse, right? There's definitely things. So Ceylin asked, what planner does mom use? She uses the Full Focus Planner from Michael Hyatt. So just Google Full Focus Planner, you'll find it. It's a really good planner. And I use a variation of that, but it's a great, great planner for sure.
It's awesome. Love it.
In fact, I haven't even told mom yet, but I've been thinking about going back to it.
Ooh.
I used it for a while and switched.
Guys, if you just keep saying things, it rubs off on other people. You just gotta keep saying it. Well, and I love this. This is one of the things I didn't like about it before. It was flat. And
I hated that too.
Now there's an option to get one that's coil bound. And so the only thing I don't like about the coil bound is it doesn't have that strap. So I've had to put a paper clip on my day because
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to do the straps I could just flip over. But the thing is, you refer back because all your goals are listed at the beginning. Okay, so I do reference those, and I love that it has rolling quarters in it, so I can look at my like everything coming up for the next 3 quarters, which is really cool. And then it's quarterly planner, so every quarter you've got to redo it. But you know what, that makes you very, very focused, because you have to sit down and actually fill it out, which I love. I look forward to that. So anyway, all right, we kind of got off on another tangent. I could talk about this planner all day long.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So smarter goals. And actually, we learned the word smarter goals from Michael Hyatt. So,
Mhm.
Phelan, that was a really good question. It was very timely because we learned this from Michael Hyatt. You've probably heard of SMART goals, but have you ever heard of smarter goals?
Mhm.
Okay. Smarter goals are better than smart goals, right? It's cool to be smart. It's even cooler to be smarter. So let's think
Hey, maybe we need to come up with smartest goals.
smartest goals. I love that. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So every goal should be specific,
Specific.
measurable, actionable, risky, time keyed, exciting, and relevant. All right. So let's talk about these really quickly. Okay. So start by identifying what you want to accomplish specifically. Okay. Specific. And then how you will know when you have achieved it. Measurable. So a habit goal might be I want to spend 45 minutes prospecting 3 days a week for 90 days, right? For 12 weeks. So if you make it to the end of that 12 weeks and you've done it, then you know you've achieved it, right? So for example, if you had an achievement goal, you wanted to hit triple star galactic rank in your business by June 1st, well, then you
Is that a real
know.
rank?
Do what?
Is that a real rank?
Sure. It's a rank in like Star Trek or something, I think. I don't know. I always make it up. I actually made it up because it's not a real rank. I didn't want people to think we were talking about a specific company. So
I know. I hear that a lot though, and I just love it. It always makes me laugh.
yes. So maybe you want to hit that rank. That's the specific thing you want to achieve by a certain date, right? So now you that's how you got there. Now you want to make it actionable. You don't just want to eat healthy, but you want to cook a healthy dinner for 5 nights each week, right? So it's not that you want to be healthier or make more money or have a better relationship with your spouse. Make it actionable. What's the action behind it? I'll let Mom talk about RTER.
Yeah. So your goal should be risky. Okay. The comfort zone may feel good, but nothing ever grew there, right? It's never like you've got to stretch. Okay. So you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You just have to do it. Jordan and I were talking about this the other day, some things we want to do in 2021. We're like, you know what? If we can just push through and do it a few times, like make it a habit goal and push through, we know we'll get more comfortable with it. So sometimes you just have to do there. So if you're like, oh, is there a chance that my goal might not be reached? That's really a good thing. Okay. You want it to be just a little risky. You want it to be just a little like, oh man, that's a little like, it's just almost a little too far out there. You don't want it to be totally unreachable at all. Okay. But you want it to be a stretch, okay? And then time keyed. So it's got to have a specific deadline, sorry. I guess I'm talking downline today, but a specific deadline, frequency, or time trigger to signal you've achieved your goal, okay? So it's got to be time keyed. You've got to put some time in there. For example, maybe you're going to read 15 minutes each morning, okay? One of the things I do is I use an app when I do my morning routine, and I do that for that reason because I have each piece of that for a specific amount of minutes. And so it's very like I know how much time I want to spend on each of those things I do during my morning routine, okay? Maybe you want to sleep 8 hours a night, so you want to make sure you do that. Or maybe you want to rank up in your business before your annual convention, and maybe that's coming up in March. You just got to make sure it's time keyed, okay? Now that you've done, the hard part, okay? You've done all that. I want you to close your eyes and imagine achieving your goal. Does that get you excited? Drop it in the comments. When you think about achieving a goal, does that get you excited? course it does, right? Or it should, okay? It should really light you up, okay? Is this goal, like, is this really your goal, or is it something that's been placed on you by someone else? You'll find that if you're not excited about it, it's probably somebody else's goal.
Yep.
Okay. It's got to be your goal so that it gets you excited. Now, no, with Jordan and I working together in our business, sometimes we will get together and we get together often and have these like strategy sessions. And one of the things that we have learned is she can't get excited and get behind a goal I set, nor can I get excited and get behind a goal she sets. So we have to figure out a way to make sure that it's something we're both really excited about so that we're able to achieve it, okay, when it comes to the things that we do together in our business. And
sometimes you hear a goal and you get excited about it, but it's just because it sounds new. Yeah. And it sounds different. And you're like, okay, yeah, I like that. That's good. Mm-hmm. But if it's not really, if you don't have ownership of that goal, if you don't feel like it's really yours, that excitement will wear off so fast.
Well, and usually about 3 or 4 or 5 days later, you don't even remember what it was you were excited about. You just were having a conversation, but you can't remember what it was. So you want to make sure this is your goal. You're excited about it. It's like it comes from within, okay? It comes from your heart. So finally, relevant, okay? So if you're just starting your business, your goal is not going to be the same for someone who's already been in business for 5 years or even 3 years, okay? Obviously, like Jordan talked about earlier, if you're a mom with young children versus a mom with teenagers, it may be a little different, okay? I mean,
kids, right? So
yeah, absolutely. So those are just some things. And if you jump over to the globalfreedomcommunity.com/64, all of this is outlined there for you, okay? And so we do encourage you to go do that.
All right. So now that you have your goals, it's time to focus. Okay. And Heather just mentioned that she said she loves that the Full Focus Planner has 3 daily goals, which is a strategy she loves. Mm-hmm. Well, we want you to pick 3 that are going to be your big focus for the next 90 days. Then you can break those down into monthly, weekly, daily goals. But you want to pick 3 out of your 10 that you're really going to focus on for the next 90 days. And how do you pick your 3, right? How do you do that? Which goals, if you achieved them, would have the greatest level of impact on your overall lifestyle and in helping you reach your other goals? So I've been using this example for a couple of years now because it's my life. But if I hit a business goal, an income goal in my business, it is going to help me finish the renovations on my house. So, right? Like, and of course, our goals with our house keep getting bigger and bigger. We started with, like a $5,000 renovation we wanted to do on the master suite. Then we were like, oh, we're going to add on this sunroom. That's just another $5,000. That's no big deal. Now we've added another 400 square feet that we're going to add onto the house. So like, it just keeps getting bigger and crazier. And so I'm like, man, got to hit those business goals, because if I hit that, then I can hit these other goals. Right? So it wouldn't do me very much good to focus on the renovation goal and not focus on my business goals, right? Because like, I can sit and think about that renovation all day long, but if I don't have the money, it ain't going to happen. And so those are some it's a good example of that. Okay. So choose 3 goals to focus on that are going to have the biggest impact on your overall lifestyle, that are going to help you make your breakthrough year happen over the next 12 months. All right.
So you want to make sure you go and grab the goal setting worksheet. Okay, globalfreedomcommunity.com/64. Guys, this is really good. We made a few updates.
9 pages.
Yeah, we made a few updates from last year. And I mentioned this last week during episode 1. You want to make sure that you save these, and so you can look back, okay? You want to be able to look back and see that, because you'll want to do this again next year, okay? But you want to look back on them. So make sure you put these someplace where you're not going to lose them, okay? Put them in a binder, put them in maybe a pocket folder, but put them someplace so that you can actually look back on them from year to year. And look back on the goals that you set from years ago, and as you go forward. This is really important. This is something you'll be doing from now on.
Absolutely. Okay, question of the week. How often do you set goals, and how often do you review your goals? I noticed a insane difference when I started writing my goals down every single day. I've got a annual goal, a 90-day goal, and a monthly goal, and I write it down every single day. And it literally, it just changed everything for me. It was insane. And we write them down in these planners. I write it in my planner. Mom writes hers in her planner. That's huge. It is a game changer. So not only do you set goals every quarter and update those goals every quarter, but you review them daily. So we'd love to know, how often do you set goals? And if it's not that, if you're not doing it that often yet, that's fine. But maybe that's something you want to focus on going into 2021. So
someone was asking, sometimes we don't see who it is that's asking, but I do use the spiral. Although this is the first quarter that I've used the spiral, it wasn't available the last time that I ordered, but it wasn't available until this order, okay? But I am going to keep the spiral going forward because I like that it, folds like this and stuff. So anyway, they're both good though. I mean, both are good.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to go download the goal setting worksheet, and we will see you back here next Wednesday for a new episode of Coffee with K&J and part 3 of the Breakthrough Year Blueprint. So we'll see you there. Bye everybody.